The key to everything is the choice you make, right? Like you said, pain and suffering and anything. It's only the choice you make. And that choice depends on where you come from and where is the decision coming from.
Yeah.
They say, right, like your life is just like a decision away.
Yeah.
Whatever decision you make, and then you have other two roads, and then you always have these crossroads. Every time you're making a choice.
Yeah.
So what is that choice you make defines your life.
Right.
So it's the key to a good life, or the life you want, is the choice, which is very hard to make. And I think that is what defines life. To make those choices and to know where it's coming from and what it can do to you. So difficult.
Siri Ravikumar is a radio jockey that's worked with very well-known stations like Radio Mirchi, has also been an actor in the film and TV industry, a host, and just a downright hardcore Kannadiga. We talk about how she went from not having a clear idea of what she wanted to do in her life to how trying her hand out in the radio business opened up multiple doors and multiple avenues, and at the same time how that was a big confidence booster for her. We talk about Siri jokes, the struggles of being in the showbiz, and how you really have to step in when shit hits the fan. The show takes a very different turn where we dive deep into philosophical topics, where I feel there's just quite a bit to uncover and quite a bit of value to gain from as well. So yeah, before we get into the show though, a couple of housekeeping tasks. I would really appreciate if you could drop a like and subscribe to our channel. And if in case you're listening to this over any of the audio channels like Spotify, Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts, then consider following or subscribing to us there too. So yeah, without further ado, this is Siri Ravikumar.
Wow, I love this coffee. I'm touching it.
Perfect. Good. So, where do you want to start? What do you want to talk about? It's your show now.
It's my show now? All right. No, I don't know. I didn't know you started.
So, the thing is, I think we should probably address the elephant in the room, which we just, I think I was tripping on at least. But for folks who don't know, Miss Siri thought that I was going to be Karan, RJK. Karan, if you're out there, we're quite disappointed you're not here, especially she is. So yeah, pan in on her right now.
No. Okay, so first you should give them.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you can give your version of it, then I'll talk about it.
So when Akash spoke to me, he called me up and he told me about this entire interview, and then he said he would like to feature me, and I was quite happy. And I think in the conversation, he spoke about other guests who are going to be on the show. And then I don't know why and how I thought Kay is going to be hosting all the shows. And and last night when we both were talking, I told him, but it's so sweet that he wants to interview me. And he's an RJ. And so.
I very clearly and distinctly remember you saying, I don't know why I'm being interviewed. It's just supposed to be two RJs who just sit down and have a conversation. And I'm just like, I'm an RJ now.
But now you are. You can call yourself
okay.
an RJ.
I am a PJ. No, I'm distant, whatever. I
didn't say that.
No, but yeah, I'm yet to reach that level. But yeah, Karan, you should have been here. But yeah, I think that is a very funny sort of situation that happened last night. And I was a little doubtful whether you'll make it here today, because the moment that was done, I was like, so she was in it because Karan's going to be hosting it.
No, I'm here because you invited me and I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah.
Because like I told you, we were talking about it. I've been an RJ and a host. So being a host, usually I'm on the other side of the table asking questions, and it feels great to be on the other side and answering questions. So, let's start.
Is this your first podcast?
Podcast, yes.
Okay, nice. So let's do one thing. I mean, like I've been telling you and pretty much all the guests, we try and steer clear of questions or interview type questions. So maybe let's start with where you're at right now, what you're most known for folks who don't know.
Okay.
And then let's maybe dive deep into certain topics.
All right, zoom in.
Yeah. No,
okay.
don't.
All right. So my name is Siri Ravikumar. So I've been an RJ, an actor, a singer, television host. So these are the very few things that I do, but not. I've been doing this for quite some time now. So when they say, what do you actually do? I don't know. I call myself an artist. I call myself a media person. So I think it's safe to say I just work in this field. This is my field.
It's the easiest way to put it.
It's easy to put it there. So when somebody says, oh, you come on TV, I said, no, it's just my job. Like I have to go talk. So that's how I say it.
Yeah.
So this is what I do briefly.
Nice. I mean, was this the plan all along? Is this something that you have, always planned of doing right from when you were a child? Or
No, I don't know, because I'm still figuring it out. And I think I've not been sure of what I've wanted to do. And along the way, I've found these things that I could, I've carved my path in, just like where you're walking and you see something and you're like, okay, this is my next destination. So I'm going to go how far this is going to take me. So basically, I've never been sure or figured out what I wanted to do. So I've been taking breaks and trying out new things. So to tell you, probably this is exactly not what I wanted to do, but I don't regret doing what I'm doing.
So where did the journey begin? Did you master the arts with a degree, or how did you kickstart this whole journey?
So see, after my 10th standard high school, I was very sure that I'm not going to do math in my life, because even simple counting, if I'm in a shop and he gives me a bill, if he's added like twice or thrice, I wouldn't know, because I'm like, okay,
just take
whatever.
the money and just finish.
I can't do this. So that's one thing I was sure of, what I didn't want to do, which was math, no numbers in my life. And then I took up arts, and I was in Mount Carmel, and I was really happy I took up arts, but I had this subject called economics, and in my second PU, I had something called as differentiation, which was, I had to solve problems like take additional sheets, and I don't know, I flunked. And I said, I told you this is why I took up arts and you're still doing this to me. But however, like all that got over. And after my degree is when I took a year break. I wasn't sure what to do. And then I started doing theatre. So
how did you end up there?
So there is this place called Suchitra Center for Film and Drama right next to my house, and I have a lot of people, a lot of friends who are in theatre or music. So there was a friend who told me that, why are you wasting time at home? There is a all-women cast play that Prakash Belwadi is directing. So why don't you give it a try? I said, I can't act. What are you saying? No way. Then he said, that's how it starts, but just come, even if you have to do backstage work. And then
this is right out of college.
So I went there and I didn't talk for 40 days of rehearsal, I think, because he didn't make me read anything and I wasn't sure. And then I did that play. So that's how it started. So theatre slowly, I continued doing a lot of plays with Prakash. So primarily I've worked with Prakash Belwadi for the past 10 years. And
still are you still?
Yeah. So we did a production last year, but thanks to COVID right now, no plays.
All
no
thanks
theatre.
to COVID.
So and after that I did my internship in Radio Mirchi, and I did my masters in Christ. So slowly Mirchi happened, and with Mirchi few films happened, and with films, web series and TV. So this is how it's been.
Yeah.
It's just randomly coming in my way and I'm just picking it up and doing. So I don't really know how the journey began. I think I'm still going on.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't know what else will come up, and I might do that as well. So,
So even with this this whole year break, right? The year you took off, it's something that people don't normally do, right? So did you receive a lot of flack from your family? Did you?
yeah, my mom is like, "What are you doing? Like in Canada, yen mane time waste ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯಾ ಸುಮ್ನೆ." So I said, "I'm not wasting time. I'm thinking. I don't know what to do. I'm figuring
I need a
it
year
out."
to think.
And then she said, "You will never figure it out in your entire life." She said, "Do one course. You'll have a degree in your hand."
And that's the postgrad.
Yeah, then I said, okay. So Christ University had this mass communication course. It was about to start in 2 months. I applied and I got to it. I'm like, okay, college. I'm going to do 2 years of college. So it was quite difficult. Thankfully, I got a job in Radio Mirchi right after college. Otherwise, at home, my mom would be like, what? You're not working. Why are you at home? So yeah.
Again, back to contemplating and thinking.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm thinking. So right now I'm in that phase. I'm figuring it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. It's lockdown.
Yeah. Oh God. Let's not go there. Yeah. So even with Mirchi, did they just allow you to come in and become an RJ and just say, you know?
So when I was in Christ University, we were supposed to do a compulsory internship in either print media or radio. So I had done an internship at Deccan Herald when I was in Mount. So I knew what it was, reporting or like writing. God, so much work. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to run around so much. So I thought I'll do radio. So one of our lecturers, he got us through a lot of radio stations in the city, and then I went to Mirchi to do the internship. So it was a complete Kannada radio back then. And I had thought that this is one thing I'm not going to do in life. I didn't like radio when I went there. I said, what is this?
Yeah.
I can't talk like they do. I don't think I have a good voice.
Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking. And then, so when I finished my internship, I went back, finished college, and then I have this friend. His name is Timothy. And he called me. He's like, Macha, there's one vacancy. You want to come more?
Dude, that is so typical Bangalorean.
Yeah,
But yeah.
and I said, really? What should I do? He said, show producer. You should just have to do content.
Okay, producer.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I said, really? Then he said, you come put an interview, we'll see what happens. I said, okay, great. And the then programming head is my very good friend now.
Okay.
So she interviewed me. She's like, okay, I like you, come 1 month. I'm giving you come join. I said, oh, really? And I didn't take it seriously. I'm like, I still don't like radio. I'm figuring out life.
Yeah.
And then my mom is like, you've just got a job. Just go do it. You don't even know what life is. So I went and joined Mirchi. And I produced a breakfast show, which was the most challenging thing because I had to wake up at 5 and go to the studio. Oh God, I did that for 6 months.
Okay.
And then the same friend of mine, she said, why don't you go audition? I think your Kannada is good. I like your voice. I think you should go do a pilot. And I recorded one show, and then she's like, you do Sunday shows. That's how it started. So I started doing Sunday shows, and gradually I did mid-morning shows, then evening drive time. So that's how it kind of graduated from there to night show.
Yeah.
So kind of done all the shows a bit. So suddenly from producer, it was an RJ stint that I had. So it has been great.
And you were an RJ for about how many years after that?
I could say 6 years. So my first year of Mirchi was as a producer.
Okay.
And then I think from the second year, I was an RJ.
And how, I mean, especially, I wanted to ask you, how was the transition? But what I want to ask is for the person, you know, such as yourself, where you said you don't like anything about radio and you just felt like you're not that sort of a person.
Right.
How did you actually get around to doing that?
So actually being a producer really helped me because usually when we hear radio, when you listen to radio, you feel a lot of things can be done. You say, why didn't she do this? Like, you know, why didn't she say this instead of that? oh, I want to listen to this song. Oh, I'm so done with this ad. So a listener thinks of radio in a very different perspective, but the person who's putting it out there goes through so much hard work.
Yeah.
So that's when I got to know that the listening experience is very important. So with so much hard work, you get a criticism like this could have been better. So it's never enough. So you always keep doing that hard work. You always put out that creativity and like impress the other person because he's tuning in for what he wants.
Right.
And also radio has been like a great influence on me since childhood, but that's a different radio that I knew, like where we would listen to Vivid Bharati for time. So my mom would say it's 9 o'clock and you're late to school, your auto is waiting or your van is waiting. So those ads or, you know, I knew at what time this person would come and what time it would be. So that is still there, though the format has changed, though it is FM, though it's like entertainment and fast entertainment and content. It still has a lot going. So that's when I thought, you know, there are so many people listening to you every day. They tune in to listen to you. So you have that responsibility to deliver what they want or at least deliver something that they would be happy with.
Yeah, of course.
So that's when the entire perspective of I don't want to do radio to I want to do this well is what.
So did you still take up a lot of production level roles after you became a jockey?
I used to, like, actually, this also not a lot of people know. They feel like if I'm coming from 5 to 9, that is your timing. But we had a regular 8-hour job. I had to log in and like log out. And I had to do a lot of paperwork, Excel sheets, Word, document, all this, which I don't do. Math! I had to do all that. And I was also curating this Mirchi Music Awards, which is quite famous in our entire Mirchi as a property in North and South. So I was managing Mirchi Music Awards for some time. So we had a lot of roles which we had to take up as well, apart from the show.
So I'm assuming once you got into the jockeying aspect of things, right? I'm sure your entire perspective of radio changed. I mean, you were basically the one creating content from scratch, but also there are producers working with you. How was the whole team set up in a way that you were able to kind of pick up a lot from that experience? Because I'm sure going into it, you're sitting on the other side and you're like, you do this. I don't think this sounds so well. You're mute.
Right.
So how did you go about doing that? Did it take you a lot of time to kind of figure that out? And was the dynamic great?
It was so difficult. See, I was just fresh out of college when I got this job, and it's quite challenging. Breakfast show is the most important show in any radio station because that's the time people tune in. They're going to work and they want to know news and they want to listen to songs. So, especially in Bangalore, bus, cab, there are a lot of people on the go. So that is the important drive time show in any radio station. So. If I had to produce that show, I was supposed to be there. I had to know everything, and it's a newsy show. So current affairs. And first of all, I can't wake up in the morning. I used to be awake and just sit there. So it was very challenging because it was a high pressure show. You had to deliver, you had to give content. You say what's the stock? I'm like, stock? 1 minute. And what's the score if there's a match? Okay, what's the gold rate? What is the silver? I'm like... Okay, so I used to go up a lot. So I've had a hard time. I was a fresher. I've got yelled at by my RJ, by my programming head, by everybody. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So from there to, I have to deliver to becoming an RJ and asking the other guy, say that I want the content. It was a great transition, but I knew what was important to the product. And in radio, especially our team was very supportive. Say you're not well, there was always this other person saying, I'll do your show today. Or to say that, hey, this is this content, why don't you do this on your show? I came across this very important news. I think this is newsworthy for your show. So that way, I think it's a nice setup where programming is never tampered with.
Got it.
No matter what happens.
Yeah. So I actually I'm sure a lot of our viewers and listeners also have this question, but do you guys tape your shows prior? Do you have a lot of live? I mean, because there's so much that goes into this, right? And especially like you said, people are expecting this first thing in the morning. They're expecting your voice. So there's another question I need to, probably we'll get down to in a bit. But before that, I want to know, how do you guys even, plan things? Because there are certain segments of the show you're like, this just doesn't sound live. There's just something really, like a little different about either her voice
Is
or
she at home?
how
Is
she's
she at
speaking so
work?
fast and how she,
Camera lagao, I
Yeah.
want live.
Yeah.
Okay, so see, to be honest, in Mirchi we did all shows live. So there is a delay, of course. There is that 8-second or 10-second gaps where, from your transmission, from
Yeah.
your studio to transmission to your
wherever you're listening to it.
your device.
Yeah.
So there is a slight delay, but morning shows and evening shows are live. And see, occasionally, like say you have a guest coming in at 3 o'clock, but you're featuring that person at 7 o'clock. So there are these situations where you record the interview and then, but you talk but you play their talking bit
Got it. Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are days when you have to record your shows. Your Sunday shows are recorded. So what you do is you record and place it in your log.
Yeah.
So some callers are not live in any radio station for that matter, because you can't control what they say.
Yeah.
They used to call and say, "Is this Radio City?" And I'm like, "This is Radio Mirchi." So because they don't know your frequency as such.
Yeah.
They know your name,
Yeah.
they know your show name, but they don't know your station name. So
Yeah.
you can't have somebody say some other brand name on your brand. So you need to maintain hygiene of the show and on-air content. So we record a few things, but usually the morning shows, everything is live.
Have you had a couple of weird instances where callers just...
Yeah.
I mean, like, please enlighten us.
So they randomly call me and then say, "Hi, you asked me this question, so I'm answering." And they're talking about his one guy. He started talking about his girlfriend and his problems, and I said, "Why are you telling me?" And some people do that. They like, "We want to talk to you. You're like a friend. We want to listen to you talk. So you please listen to us talk." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." But then they're not answering my question at all. I said, "But come to the point. I heard you." Like, but you asked me, "What's your name?" Then I say, "My name is Siri." He's like, "Oh, I thought this is Rashmi." I said, "Oh God." So there are a lot of things. They say, "Oh, I love RJ Guru." And I'm like, "He's not part of our station." So can you please... So we were giving away gold, silver, iPhones on air. So the other radio stations would get calls saying that, "Give me iPhone, this is my number." So they usually... There are horrible things also, but I can't remember the most funny ones, but they usually do this. Yeah.
So the other question I had was, do you guys plan your leaves, or how do you guys ensure that there are, the days you don't make it? How do you keep the show going? And again, I don't know how this works. Let's say you fall sick. What's the plan? What's plan B then?
So yeah, it's very hard, very hard. So all we RJs, we only cry about not having a weekend, no holidays. You can't, if you plan your leave, you have to talk to all the RJs and find out if they are okay with it, especially the New Year's and Christmas.
The big days.
Big days are so difficult, and festivals. So that's what we do. We used to have a weekly meeting. So somebody would say, "Okay, I'm not here August 15th. And I'm like, "Arey, no Independence Day leave. I have to come and do her show and his show." So yeah, we have to plan our leaves, and we have to also understand that there are no weekends. So if you're a morning show jock, forget your evenings and nights, no party life. And if you're an evening RJ, forget your evenings. So
both ways evenings have gone for a toss.
Evenings are gone for a toss. So when we put up, photos, and when we do these interviews, they say, "Oh my God, what life!" And I'm like, "Dude, I had to wake up at 5 o'clock to do this." So it has its perks, but it also comes with a lot of...
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So what about sick days though? How do you guys handle and work
So when
around
you're
that?
really sick, you can't help it. So
Do you have someone quickly fill in
so
because
we've
we've never
done
seen a show that doesn't happen, right? That doesn't go on air.
No,
so how do you guys really have
there
that
has
last
to
minute?
be an RJ. So for example, So the only crucial thing is the morning show. If the morning show RJ cannot turn up at say 6:30 to the studio, who will you wake up?
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
will wake up. You can't wake anybody up. So that is challenging. Any other show you can see, please do this extra today.
Yeah.
You can just ask. But I've done that one. So the main RJ was supposed to do the show and she was on a planned leave.
Okay.
And somebody else was supposed to fill in for her. He overslept and they didn't know what to do. I lived slightly close to the office and I woke up at 7 and I said, okay, nothing, brush your teeth, leave.
Yeah. You were the producer?
No, I was doing shows by then.
Okay.
But we have filled in like that. I woken up at 7 o'clock, just brushed my teeth in my pajamas and I've ran to the studio because nobody's there to do it. So the rule is show must go on.
Yeah,
doesn't
of
matter
course.
who does it. It's best if you do it. But if you can't, but we'll hold fort.
Okay.
So.
That's that. I mean, I'm sure most people don't get this inside scoop, right? They don't get an idea of the things that happen within the set, if you want to call it that, right? So it's great. I mean, the notion people have about RJs, like you said, is this whole cool thing. People are just always hip and you have to always be smiling because it kind of, seeps through the mic as well. You can
and also, I don't know why people think we talk for hours together. We don't. We don't. So what happens is, my show is from 5 to 9.
Yeah.
But we come in between songs and we speak for some time and come, my God, madam, you talk for 5 hours. You must be very tired. I said, no, I don't talk for 5 hours, but I'm in the show for 5 hours.
Yeah,
I have songs coming
There's a difference.
in, a lot of elements. But people think we talk a lot.
Yeah.
We do, but then we don't really talk a lot.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
On air.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yes.
That's good. That's what we need you here for. Yeah. So tell me, how did you actually cope with that sort of lifestyle, in the sense that you had to really buck up and be the sort of extrovert and really put yourself out there? I mean, did that come with, of course you said it came with a bit of practice, seeing other RJs perform, you kind of stepped up as well. But did you kind of decide that this is the sort of career you were going to kind of make it in? Or did you also again think maybe this is something I can still try, kind of maybe just dip my toes and see whether this is what it is for me? But at the same time, I think I have theater going on as well, so you never know, that can probably lead me to other places. So how did you actually go about that?
So initially, like I said, first of all, I was thinking, are you sure you want to do radio? Okay, I'll continue doing radio, because I had so much fun. I had a lot of fun at Mirchi, especially Mirchi, because it is a place where it encourages us to do mad things, and then you can have fun at work.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the process, and along that, yes, I had theatre, and then I had these small little opportunities I was getting on screen, and I met a lot of people. It was a good networking, place also, where I could meet a lot of people from various fields and then talk to them, and they're my listeners. They listen to my show. It was a great way to interact and collaborate and network with them. So I don't know, maybe because I've been trying to explore all other fields, somewhere I think acting is something which is very personal, which probably I don't want to make it very big, but that's something that I'll continue doing in my little, in however way I can. Radio, let's see. But other things also, I think it's just like in the process going on.
Okay.
So
at no point did you decide that this is...
No, I'm still not able to say that. Because again, like hosting is something I really didn't want to do.
Yeah.
When I came to radio, they said, you have to go host the show. I said, no, I'm so bad on stage. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
But now I can probably do that. So I don't know if I want to do anchoring as full-time.
A full-time gig. Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah. I'd like to also talk about how you finally got to hosting different kinds of shows, and how, like you said, sitting on the other side, right, where you are expected to come to the table with a bunch of questions and make the other person feel very comfortable, because either you're obliged to do so, or they are entitled to be here, and you make them feel that way because you're obviously interviewing those kind of folks, right? Celebrities I'd say to some sort of extent.
Right.
So before we get there, how did you even move into movies and TV? I mean, I'm sure radio itself kind of was a conduit to open up other doors, but people don't see that as one of the, let's say, outcomes when they get into any of these industries. They just think, okay, if I'm an RJ, that's that. Maybe the best I can do is, I get a speaking gig, or I'm a host somewhere. That's about it. But
That's true.
how do these doors open up to maybe the TV industry, or the movie industry?
So my first ever film experience was with Ananya Kasarwalli,
Okay.
and it was her debut. So I've always liked watching art films, especially Kannada art films, and Girish Kasarwalli's films. So I've watched all of his films, and I was really inspired by that. And somewhere thanks to theatres, a few of them had seen my work. And I never knew I could act or even attempt.
When you say work, theatre work.
Yeah. So, so she approached me, and she said, there's a role, I would like you to do it. Like, would you want to do it? I said, of course, definitely. So we went to Barkur, Udupi, the coastal region of Karnataka, and we shot that for 15 days. So that was before radio, like while radio was going on, I think. One of those.
Initial days, probably.
Yeah. And so that's how it happens. So when you work on a project, when you work with people, so they know you, so few others will know you. And then P. Sheshadri sir approached me if I would be interested in acting in his film. I said definitely. So that was another art film I did. And slowly after that, when I was in Mirchi, so I had to do these small roles, part of the film. So they say there's a radio station in the film, like some scene or the hero is an RJ and they need a friend, and I'm like, hey, I'm there. Or they would say, hey, Siri can act, I think you can take her. So I've done those small couple of roles. And so because of that, I've met like a lot of other people also, like Hemant Rao or Pawan Kumar, all these filmmakers. Pawan Kumar, I've not got the opportunity to work with him, but I hope I will someday. Hemant Rao is one such other great filmmaker. So I got an opportunity to work with him. So yeah, I worked in this movie called Kavaludari, a very, very small role. But it was a big production. It was PRK Productions. It was Hemant Rao and Puneet Rajkumar involved in the film. So it was a great experience. Anant Nag. So with that, I've met a lot of other people, and I did web series. And that is something that I'm really interested in. So maybe if you ask me what is it that you want to continue doing, maybe be in this space. If not acting, maybe writing or do back-end or production. I think that is the future. That is something that I'm interested in. So it's still going on somewhere. I think because of this, I think even the TV channel, they approached saying that, would you be interested in hosting? I said, why not? So I'm grateful for the opportunities which have come, and I've explored it and I've taken it, and I don't know what to say. I'm just very grateful that I didn't go looking for it, but when it comes towards you, it feels great.
But that's the thing, right? Most of these things, you don't go looking for them. There are a lot of these guys who have made up their mind that, let's say, Bollywood is for me. Right. So I'm going to move to Mumbai, and I'm going to pursue it. I'm going to do whatever it takes to kind of, take one step closer to what I need to do. That's one side of, let's say, one aspect or one way to approach this journey. Right. On the other hand, you do a lot of things that are very similar or, let's say, lateral or parallel industries. And then these doors open up, which you never expect.
Right.
And that's something people don't necessarily know. Like, for instance, I'm sure when people look at let's say, YouTuber, for instance, and this is so cliched because this is going to be on YouTube, but a lot of people don't understand that these guys are shooting their content to eventually probably also maybe get freelance work for maybe shooting freelance work for maybe speaking gigs, and doors open up the moment you show that in this particular niche, I'm doing so well.
Yeah.
Right. So, and the fact that you said, I have kind of decided, or I've said yes to most of these things, it kind of, opened up more doors.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So were there instances where you had to say no to? Because the art of saying no is probably, I'd say, more important than the art of saying yes.
That's true.
So what do you think about that? Do you see a
Oh,
lot
it's
of
so difficult. I think every artist, at least somebody who is just starting their career, they find it very hard to say no, because that's what they say. No, don't say no to anything. And like, you have to take every opportunity. So it all depends on how hungry you are towards that. Like, if I'm saying, if I want to be an actor and that's my passion, that's the only thing I want to do, I would probably take up every role that came by my way and to see whatever works. Like, I think a lot of people have explored their presence on screen or their niche that way. So it also depends on how hungry you are to do that. So for me, it's not that I want to be a heroine, or I want to be seen everywhere. So I want to be known for doing meaningful work, or whatever little I've done, I want some of my, essence in that. So it's very difficult to say no, to say that I don't want to do this role because So I've got offers like a heroine's sister who is pregnant, but she's so guilty of it. And then there is one scene and I'm like, no, please. I mean, it's a great role for the film, but not for me. Right? So to turn it down, it's very difficult. And many people take it on their ego that, oh, she said no to me. I'm never going to ask her. So a lot of artists who are starting off, they face this issue. I face that too. But I'm like, it's okay, man. Like, if not this, it's no problem. I'll do something else. There's so many things to try. No problem.
And especially, like you said, in those initial days, right? People are just starting off. I feel people should, for the most bit, say yes in their initial days because they need to do whatever it takes. So even with my business, or what I've seen with, let's say, an initial phase of any of the projects I've picked up, right? You don't say no because you just have to please and you just got to do that.
And you have to be in the scene. And you have to tell them that, hey, I'm here. So I'm waiting for that big role.
And like you said, I'm hungry.
Hungry.
I'm ready to do this. So that sort of conviction is good. But when you get to a point, you realize that, I'm saturated with work right now. And I know exactly what I need to do and what is the direction I should be taking. At that point, I feel it's more important to say no. You should be very clear on, okay, I've done this, that's not for me.
Because there have been instances where I've said yes and I've suffered through the work and I'm like, oh God. So that's a learning, saying, just say no instead of suffering these 20 days of useless, futile work, which you're not going to show it to people also. That you feel, oh, I did this. And you don't want to say you did that. So it's difficult.
Because I've been getting into this whole phase of essentialism, if you want to call it that. And I have these long conversations with my wife as well, where it's key to prioritize work. It's key to prioritize things. Now, when I say prioritize work, it doesn't mean work over other things. It's to prioritize work in itself, picking up areas within work that you feel you should be focusing on. Because you see a lot of people who just come to work and they're like, have you seen my task list? I have 25 things, I'm going to kill it today. And then at the end of it, they basically leave office with 26, which is so ironic, right? So at some point, of course, I was there too. But what I've now decided is to kind of take the essential route, and I say I've blocked off this much time for whatever it is. Like, for instance, we're shooting this now. I decided nothing else. I have my business going on too, but I kind of either work around it. So we do that. But the moment you see there's some sort of a solace or let's say some benefit when a client comes and says, can you take this up right now? But you realize you just can't do it this way.
Yeah.
Right? At that point, you have to, put your foot down.
Put your foot down and say no.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah. No means no. Okay. Not
No
in,
means
yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. No, yeah, but that's great. And I think another thing that we spoke about earlier was, I think the importance of time and just being in the moment that kind of will open up other doors. Maybe if you could kind of elaborate a bit on that.
So for me, I realized that, from my radio days, I could say that time is so essential, and it is something that you have to keep up. Though I'm a horrible person, I'm always late. Horrible person only in terms of that, otherwise I'm a very nice person. Okay, so anyway, horrible in keeping up time. I wake up late and I'm always late usually.
Yeah.
But when I joined radio, there's no room for all that.
Yeah.
Saying 7 o'clock is my first, 7:15 is my first link. 7 o'clock I come and say good morning. I need my newspaper here. So, and I'm like, oh God, you can't be late, like even by a second.
Yeah.
So, what I really learned is that, you don't have time. So if it has to be done, it has to be done. So I think I started valuing time even more with radio and TV and everything, because when you go on air, there is this time that you have to keep up.
Yeah.
And the fact that if your show is from 5 to 9 and there is something that you need to do, like say 5:10, you have to put out this link, and it is 5:10. You can't do it at 5:15. You can't say 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
You can't snooze.
Yeah.
So so also the presence of time, to say that you can't be late is one. So hard for me to understand that, but I could understand it the hard way.
Yeah.
That you can't be late and you don't have time.
Yeah.
And when you are doing the link, there is nothing else that you can do.
Yeah.
So if it's 8:15 link, you're talking, you have to be present, you have to be there, and you have to be doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So it becomes a added pressure, but you will conveniently do it when you start doing it.
Yeah.
Like over years. Yeah. Like I told you, when the camera is on, when the mic is on, there's immediate filter, there's always presence of mind of what you have to say, what you have to do.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that is very important that I learned this entire journey.
Right. So even let's say with you being present in the moment, right? And you said this whole filter that kicks off. Have you seen instances where that has kind of backfired? Not in the sense on air, but you probably weren't able to get your point across because you're just like, I'm so worried how to put this point across. And
that has happened. So like I was saying, right? No matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, you must have had a breakup, or you're weeping. I know something has happened, but when you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
So you can't show your face, like a disturbed face or sulking, because the show must go on, like on stage or in front of camera, on mic. So it has been challenging. There are days when I'm really angry and my boss is standing here and I'm like, why are you here? I'm doing my link. And I've done
over.
And I'm like, God, like let me finish this link, just 30 seconds more. I've said a lot of stupid things and I've tried to cover it up, and I come back and say, and like a lot of people have messaged me saying, Madam, are you all right?
They probably ping the wrong person and say, are you okay, Siri? I'm not Siri.
So we had a WhatsApp number, and I'm like, God, people are listening to me. What about it? I think. But usually you try and cover it up. But there have been blunders that I've made.
Yeah, because all of these things, right, with radio, with TV, movies, and there's this perception of the lead or the jockey, whoever it is, right, who's kind of leading the content aspect of it. They choose to work on their own time. They get to kind of lead the show the way they want because they're the lead. But, it's all a team effort at the end of the day, right? You have so many people behind the set who are kind of working together. So it's, like you said, it's doubly important that you kind of really step up and, form a habit out of it. So did you actually have like a ritual by the end of it? And is that something that still sticks with you today?
So we had a plan, like we had to have a show flow, like say, okay, 5:15, you come and sign in, say hello.
Yeah.
But radio never works that way also. See, every link is your first link because you never know who's tuning in at what time. I can't
Exactly.
say, what I was just talking, what I was talking about, right? So now you tell me the answer. They're like, what were you talking about? I just tuned in. So you always treat it like a first link.
Yeah.
But then also, what happens is you have a show, like say 6 o'clock, I have a song game. So when you do that, people know that, okay, 6 o'clock is the song game. Okay, this is what she does on her show. Oh, 8 o'clock is 3 top news. So we had a show, we had a format that we would follow, but sometimes it's like when you're leading something, it also depends on how you feel the show is taking
You
its
kind
shape.
of you work, you basically kind of adjust and
you kind of steer around how it's going. You also go with the flow, so you have that freedom. It's not really hard and fast that but there are a few things that you have to do. Say if I have a signature style that I do every day at 6 p.m, then I have to do it, otherwise it doesn't sustain, right? Nobody will remember it. So few things that you have to stick to, we would. Otherwise, it used to be a free flow show.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's a very important point that you brought up. These small things that you do, right? A lot of people quickly cling on to it. I remember. So I'll be honest. I'm just coming out very clean and telling you, I'm not a radio person. I haven't listened to radio in a long time. My wife, though, on the other hand, when she used to commute to work, used to listen to a lot of morning shows. So there are these, let's say, these segments that happen over and over again. It's just like any other marketing tactic, right? You kind of put it, like you said, it has to be a sustainable sort of approach. So was that, are there certain, let's say, segments that happen on the fly and then you realize, wow, this just works, so let's just...
It happens. Like for example, I used to read these lines behind the auto. Like when you say, hi Aishwarya, I love you types. When you see in Kannada, they're weird things.
Dude, it's amazing. Listen, it's too good.
Behind the cab. So I was just talking about it and I said, in Kannada, when you ek line marna, say one line hodiyadu. So it also means like, your sight at the fire. You're like hitting on this person. So I think I was talking about it on the link and I made that a segment. And I said, I'm going to have this as a segment. So like that, a lot of things while you talk, you come up with it. Like see, for example, Lingo Leela was such a great segment. Like even now to this date, like, you have this lady who would come on Radio City who used to teach Kannada slangs. So her name was Lingo Leela. So when she says Guru, so Pataisu Guru, and like she would teach what it means. So these are the few segments that in radio which become really memorable. So we had a lot of segments like that. So that usually those elements, those segments come at a particular time during your show or in the station. So those are essential to be on a particular time so that it becomes a habituated listening thing also.
So actually talking about habits more on a personal level, these things that, these routines that you did around your work, is that something that kind of even, has stuck with you today? As in, do you still see yourself following a pattern or routine when it comes to, daily, whatever it is, because of things that you have done? Okay, no.
Not anymore, because see, one, you need to have work to do it. So right now, thanks to the lockdown and everything, so I'm also chilling and I'm on a break. But a few things like, before show, there are a few things that you do, you don't do. Like say maybe, I used to not watch a lot of videos, say, before the show, because that would just be in my head and I would forget what I'm supposed to talk over the show. Or just like maybe listen to some song and like go with an energy. But all the other things about time and all that, I don't know if I use it anymore. I don't know. I've forgotten how to work.
Dude, you sound like prehistoric. It's not like...
I don't know. How does a job feel like? I don't know. What is it? I don't know how to do it.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Okay, I think we are done, no? Okay. But let's talk a little more about what you did recently. I think you moved into TV. How did that start, and how was the experience different from movies?
Oh God, it's so difficult. Okay, I have to tell you this. So
we had another. Sorry to butt in there,
No
but we
problem.
had another guest on the show. So he was he still is a freelancer.
Okay.
But just because he's into experimenting and trying things, so his name is Akshay, and by chance a door opened up to a a TV show, and he was part of it for about I think 2 months or so.
Oh,
And
great.
it was like it's not about the money. It's just the experience. So he was part of it. So it's like a very different sort of a from just doing good work in certain fields opened up because of networking and kind of putting yourself out there. So with your case as well, I believe because you did so many things with radio, with movies, it kind of opened up doors here too. So how now those guys are, I'd say our viewers and listeners have gotten an idea from him what a Kannada TV he was saying is in a prime time TV show for
really?
like 2 months, but he was like some cousins, brothers, something, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, but what's the actual experience like? And like you said, it's difficult, I assume.
It is very difficult. So when Colors approached me and they said, would you like to host an event? And like I told you, I had this inhibition of like facing audience. So I'm like, I now I can do radio because I don't have to see people. But now I have to see people and talk for so many hours, and I wasn't really sure about it. And so I first said yes, I would do it, and I fell ill. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm too tensed, I'll take it easy. So I didn't do the show. So there was another show, they approached me, and then I said, oh, maybe not yet.
Okay.
So finally, when they approached me that we have a reality show coming up, and it is a singing show. So would you like to host it? And I said, come what may, I'm going to do this. I said, yes, I'll do it. So the audition was so horrible. So basically, you have an in-ear where, people are talking to you while you talk in front of the screen. So it was so difficult. Like somebody's talking in my ears constantly, and I'm looking at the camera and talking and conversing. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. The first day of the shoot, oh God.
This is the audition? Or
No.
this is the shoot? So
audition, I understood how it is. The first day, and in 20 days, we had to shoot.
Yeah.
They did a mock shoot, and they said, oh, this is not working out. This is so bad, he said. I said, what do I do? He said, no, we have to go ahead with you. So you have to find a way to learn this. I said, okay. And the first day, and I'm just there shivering, and so much makeups, the heavy jewelry and the dress and
it's one of those shows.
And I'm not used to doing all that, dressing up like that. And I'm standing there, I'm like, with all this, I have to look fine and I have to talk well.
And listen to these guys
Listen to these guys talk, and it was so much stress. It was so much stress.
God.
And I thought, why am I even alive? God, this is so much. But then it was a great feeling when I finished that day. Yeah. When I finished the shoot, it was great. And I kind of got a hang of it because a lot of people who helped me. So my stylist, my designer, my makeup artist, they made me comfortable, say that forget how you're looking great.
Yeah.
Now you just do the talking.
Yeah.
So I had my director who could come and say that, you're doing well, just do it.
Yeah, right.
Those people also filled a lot of confidence in me, and I ended up doing 3 seasons. So it was a great feeling.
Nice.
And everybody watches TV, and I did not know that I would get that kind of attention. So when you go like, I've seen you in TV, and I'm like, oh, am I going to be that face where you're like, I've seen her in TV?
Yeah.
So it was a great feeling.
Yeah.
But also, oh God, too much. Yeah.
What about
I'm
these
going to
Siri
give a
jokes?
disclaimer. Anybody cracking a Siri joke, you will not be around anymore.
Oh, okay.
Too much.
Go crazy in the comment section. Yeah.
Don't do.
No, but have you gotten a lot of those?
Lot of them. Oh, so when I joined Mirchi, it was October sometime, and no, even before Mirchi, I think. So it was around my birthday, and it's in October. And somebody called me and they said, oh, congratulations. And somebody messaged me saying, oh, you should sue Apple. And I said, what are you guys talking about? Oh, they launched Siri. So they used your name. And I'm like, okay, fine, crazy, whatever. Yeah. I still don't know anything about it. And I went to Mirchi, and this person, he said, "Oh, your name is Siri?" I said, "Yes, of course. So I can talk to you." I said, "Yeah, sure you can. But I'll have to touch the right button and talk to you." And I'm like, yuck.
Oh my God.
Horrible. So they're horrible jokes. So a lot of them have iPhones. My friends, they say, "Hey Siri," and like they all start talking. And I'm like, okay, who do you want to talk to, me or your Siri? So decide who your Siri is. I hate Siri jokes. I hate Siri jokes.
You hate Siri itself? Like
No, I love Siri, but not Siri jokes.
Oh,
not
you
the
like
iPhone.
you like the iPhone Siri?
No, I like my
Okay.
Siri.
Okay. Siri. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. I honestly thought your name's Sirisha or something else, but it's just Siri.
Bari Siri.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
For people who don't know, that means...
Yeah. So, I mean, I've got this a lot from childhood. They say, "Nina, Bari Siri na."
Yeah.
In Kannada, like, "Just Siri." I said, "Yeah, just Siri." Just.
That's probably what, we're going to name this episode.
Just Siri. Oh.
Or something like something to do with Siri. Something on, we'll play on the lines of Siri. Let's see. Yeah.
Siri.
Siri. Yeah.
Sari.
We've just gone off on 3 different tangents. But this is great. So, yes. So, what I want to ask you about next is how do you kind of prepare yourself for these interviews that you've had with celebrities and these different folks? Because I need some tips on how I can, take this podcast show forward and how I can improve on, speaking and kind of coming up with the right kind of questions, and how do you kind of, direct these conversations? Because I'm sure you would have come in with some sort of notion and plans, and then the moment that guy comes in or that, that girl comes in, and then they probably have a very different mindset, different frequency,
That's
very
true.
bad mood. You would have obviously seen, the highs and lows. Some just go as planned, some don't, or most don't, I'm assuming. Yeah, so what's your experience been on that, and what have you learned from something like that?
Okay, so for me, I think even the interviews I watch or the interviews I hear, I like something that is more free-flowing and which doesn't have a structure to it. So I think I've done all my interviews like that. So this Sunday show I was hosting was called Just Mat Ali, which is mean in conversations with this person. So I used to do interviews. So what I really wanted to do with these personalities that I was bringing into the show was to know more about them than what they've done. So it would be more of like a conversation that I had not planned. So for example, if I say, "You know what, I can't wake up in the morning. What about you?" And they would be like, "Yeah, man, I can't. But no, I'm always on time." So, and then we would just pick up a thread and talk about it. But definitely when we have time constraints, so I would have my questions ready. And if we don't have much time, so you need to ask pointed questions. So what I would do is know more about that person before they come, which is the homework you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I had some wacky questions ready, like your trump card. You say, I've asked a nice question, and they give you a nice answer. Then you can use it the whole day, and you can make it viral, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Also, but no, I've always liked interviews, like conversations. So one of my friends, when he heard my show, he's like, "You cheated me." I said, "How?" "No, you talk to everybody like you talk to us."
Yeah.
I said, "But that's how it's supposed to be. You know, you can't be different. You can't be a different person on air and in real. So I'm the same person." Yeah. So for me, even like my links, or it used to be like I'm talking to somebody across the table or somebody next to me. So that's how I like it. It's like you're just having a chat with someone.
Yeah. But are there a lot of instances where these guys just don't want to open up?
Yeah, there are, and they take offense. And if I ask something and they wouldn't like it, and you can't do anything. You just smile and say, "I'm sorry, but moving on."
That's pretty much
What else can you say? But because your intention is not to offend anybody, unless you've really asked a very bad, horrible personal question.
Are you known for those?
No. I'm a very sweet person. I've always asked for uncomfortable questions. So no, I've not had an experience like that.
Nice. So right now, with where you're at, I see that you have no inhibition in really letting the world know that the whole entertainment industry has taken a huge hit. So indirectly, even your own career, everything, it's kind of come to a still. But at the same time, you're also decided that you're going to take a break and kind of focus on a few other things as well. How do you kind of build your mind around that sort of a thinking? Because the moment folks don't have a regular 9 to 6 or a regular job to go to, or a job to wake up to, if you want to, especially with working from home now, how do you kind of build your mind around something like that? Because at least from what I've gotten from listening to you, you are the kind of person who likes to take it as it comes. As you do certain things, opportunities will come your way, and it's up to you to whether you want to explore them and see where that takes you. So how are you kind of coping up with this now, and how do you get your mindset the right way?
Oh, it's so difficult. I mean, how do I tell you, Akash? It's because for me, when in Jan I was doing my radio show, and then my Colors hosting was going on, and then I was acting in this web series. So I was handling 3 jobs every day for the past few months. So I was very busy. So it was a great feeling also when you finish so much end of the day and you're ready for another 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. drill, and then it all came to an end together. Like it all became, like it came to a standstill. Around Feb, March, my web series got over, and then my show with Colors got over, and with Mirchi, my contract got over, and then I did not renew it. And then I thought I'll take a break, like a small, short 1 month break, and then I'll restart my things. But you never know what happens, right? There was lockdown. And whatever I could do, whatever I had planned, and nothing worked out. And 1 month has become 5 months, almost 6th month now. So it drove me insane to think that suddenly you have nothing. It's like from a moving train, you're out and you're still feeling that, and you don't have anything to do, right? So some days are bad, but also I tell myself that you can't do anything, so chill. Nobody's doing anything. That's one way to look at it. And also this whole pressure of do something on your own, like you do your podcast, do your video, I'm saying there's a lot of content, and if there's something that Siri is doing, I need to figure that out again, to say that I'm going to wait it out. It's okay. Some days are bad. Some days are great. Some days are just there. I see some days just passing in front of me, and I'm like, I'm in the same place. I'm still looking at my phone, but it's okay. I want to take it slow, because it's important to also not do anything. And to be all right. And I know I have my people telling me, don't you think you're very idle right now and you don't have anything to do? How is your mental health? I said, it's here and there, so you don't really know.
Just don't mess my mental health up with all these questions.
Because I'm messing it myself too much. So more than being answerable to yourself or to anybody, just stay. Don't know. Never know. I might get 4 jobs again now. So I just trust the process, and I don't want to hurry and end up doing something that I don't want to do. Regret.
But did you actually see any of those instances pop up? Is it because you've held back on doing something on your own, or have you gotten certain opportunities, you just decided that's not something I want to do right now?
There were a few opportunities where I took up, and then while doing it I didn't like it, and I said I could do better. And even the things that I want to do on my own, and I feel this done already, but if it needs a fresh approach, something, maybe it could be the simplest of things, but you need a different treatment, different approach. So what happens when you see a person doing something, you end up doing the same. Like Danish is a sensation. My God, I think lockdown has worked out only for him, if not anybody else. But you see a lot of people doing the same thing, like doing conversations. And I'm saying, if somebody says, Siri, you can do it. I said, I can definitely do it, but I don't want to do it. That's not mine. You can't give it a twist and do the same thing. So there are only few formats, but what is the treatment? What is the approach you give? Takes time, and maybe I'm sitting on it, but sometime soon. I'm not in a hurry.
Dana said that's one person who's going to be sitting here soon. I hope.
Oh, crazy!
Like it's a reach of a reach. Like I'm really reaching for certain people. But I thought I'll like you said, find the sort of niche to kind of focus on and just get started, and I'm sure that eventually with time
Great, it will be great.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know, but yeah, this whole lockdown thing has been it's just extremely uneasy is the simplest way to put it, and everything's shaky. Nothing, you don't know for certain what's going to happen tomorrow.
That's true.
And like you said, it's better to not do anything than do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But also, when they say that, how would you know before knowing which is right or
Correct.
wrong?
Yeah.
So it is that decision that you need to make.
Yeah.
And which I struggle with a lot. And to say yes and to go ahead and do something, I think I need more courage to say, okay, maybe this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Let's see.
Yeah.
You have a lot of time.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone's home.
Yeah. What else? So one quick thing I wanted to talk about, which actually slipped my mind the moment you said you were in a reality show. This whole stress with the TV series, was it because it was a reality show per se, or was it because it's just TV? Is that how the industry is?
See, industry in TV also very fast. Like you don't have time.
Yeah.
So you come at a certain time, it's dog's work, you have to do it. If it's 12 hours shoot, yes. If it's late night, you stay. If it's early morning, you come. So basically be available and do your bit. Do it well. And so one is you need to look good look good as in, I'm not talking in terms of your features, but I'm saying you need to be presentable. You're hosting a show.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge. And the kind of Kannada I knew, or though it was conversational, there is a certain, mannerism that you need to...
A linguistic sort of...
your... because I was like this when I started, like, hello, welcome and all in Kannada, I'm saying like, use your hands, and I'm like, okay, and only using too much. I'm like, where do I stop this? So a lot of stress like that. And also, when I'm talking right now, I don't know if I'm smiling too much, if I'm looking serious. They say, oh, you look grumpy. Smile, smile, smile. And I'm like, oh, like not like that.
Someone just like stabbed you with a smile dagger. That's a thing.
That's true. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of, oh God, that... sometimes I used to wear I was supposed to wear a heavy dress and with a lot of jewelry and heels, and I'm like...
Do you get any say in that? Do you get to say no to these kind of things?
But I was fortunate to have a very good designer with me, and she had to really mold me into being a woman on the camera.
Yeah.
Literally, she had work. She's like, oh God, how do I handle you? You're such a tomboy. It's like, if she had seen me now, she would disown me. She'd be like, Siri, why do you even apply a nail paint?
She's going to dislike this video for sure.
Yeah. They do this for you. She's like, what are you doing? And she'd be like, you're just a man. I can't, like, how do I groom you? So it took her a lot of weeks to say that, please, Siri, like, don't wear this. You're supposed to wear this footwear. I'm like, okay. Then she would see my photo and be like, what are you doing? You could do better.
I put in all this effort to get you dressed up, and this is how you look.
And
Stop doing this.
Yeah, so she's like, I can't dress you up. It's so difficult. But yeah, it's a lot of things. A lot of things I learned. Like, I didn't know how to pose. So we used to do this photo shoot. Yeah. They're like, stand like this. Yeah. Stand like that. And I would just stand like this. I'm like, do I look nice? Like, no, horrible, I don't want to use the word, but yeah, that.
Okay, that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh God, I didn't realize.
But you just put it out there. You voluntarily showed everyone your nails.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Oh, did I? Oh God, I did that.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on to something that we both are more comfortable with, and making others comfortable too, if that makes sense. No?
Hey, aren't you guys comfortable? I'm extremely comfortable. See, I think I want to sit on the table
No,
next.
okay, no.
Both my legs are up. I'm like, okay, great.
No, but we have to get to that segment, so people should probably, stay tuned for the end, where apparently Siri is going to take over and she's going to do a lot of...
Yeah, so because it's been so long since I hosted a show, and I'm not entirely comfortable now, and I feel like hosting the show and ask him a few questions. So we'll be back with it. Stay tuned.
Okay.
After this break.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. That's
Sponsored by?
No.
Powered
not yet. Do you want to sponsor our show?
Thank you.
Oh, God. Yeah. Let's actually talk about what you've been exploring the last, couple of weeks, because this is something I haven't spoken to anyone on the show yet,
Okay.
but something that I've been reading up about a little bit. But you've been taking philosophy classes.
Yeah.
Which, again, from the sort of vibe I'm getting from you, it's not something that you're into, but I'd like to know what kind of got you into that and what are you looking to explore there?
Okay, so there's this school called New Acropolis, and they have a lot of centers across the globe, and they teach philosophy. So when you say philosophy class, people are like, oh my God, like, oh really, you're enlightened, oh, what are you learning? Oh, so boring. How old
Both
are
sides.
you? I'm like, so I think it's not about all that. So my cousin introduced me to this course. So it's basically understanding the history of, say, philosophy or the thoughts, the thinking way of life, where maybe our Indian or Greek or any other
It's not just
concept.
Indian philosophy.
No, it's not Indian. It's
okay.
also Greek philosophy. Then you have Chinese philosophy. You have like a lot of Western concepts coming in.
Yeah.
So where the program is called Living Philosophy Program, which gives you a different perspectives to life that you're living. It's because I think we're always caught up into how we are. And I think when we reach our 20s, you already have few things shaped in your head and you're always thinking, this is the secret of success. This is the path I need to take. This is working out for me. And usually when you see young adults or say adults post 40, they're always unhappy with the way they are. But they're not regretting their choices, but they do regret their choices. But I'm saying you're always unidirectional of how you want to be. So I think this is an interesting program where they give you a perspective of a way of life. There is no way of life, but you choose what you need to do and to be more aware of what you feel and why you say what you say. And if you're angry, is it coming out of your personality or is it the circumstances or is it something that's bothering you? So it's not a preachy session that I'm attending, but it just makes you more aware to say that how do I live my life meaningfully and what's your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing? So I think once you kind of fine-tune that, you can go longer no matter what you do. I could be an RJ or an actor or a dancer or an astronaut, but there's one way of life that you subscribe to and it's nice to explore. So it's very difficult. It is, and it's something that we all know every day. Like, you have to wake up at 5 if you have to be at your work by 7. It's a simple thing to do, but what drives you to do that? If you don't like the job are you doing it for money or are you doing it to keep yourself busy? These questions we don't answer ourselves. So why am I doing this TV show? Is it because I want to be popular or is it money or is that something I really want to do? It is okay not to answer them, but it's good to know these answers so that you don't get stuck. It's like a kind of fine-tuning of whatever you have learned all these years to unlearn and learn.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. Sometimes I can't make it to the class. Who sits for 2 hours and talk about Aristotle? But end of the class, I'm like, glad I learned something.
Yeah.
It's about our everyday choices that we make.
Yeah.
Why are we making them?
Right.
How meaningful is your partner to you or what are you adding value to? So I think instead of just living, or like how I'm going with the flow, there could be a purpose stitched to that. Maybe it'll be more interesting, I feel.
So what's I think we should really dive deep into this because this is something I'm very keen on and quite interested because like you said, it's apparent but not really practically being used.
Yeah.
Right? So there's this very weird sort of imbalance. There's this weird notion that, like you said, philosophy, it's just boring. What are you talking about? And why would you want to listen to Aristotle or Seneca or whoever?
Exactly.
Right? All these folks, they have lived their lives. You live your life, dude. Like, relax. But at the same time, all these guys who say this are very easily either blinded or have their own, vision on what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they don't know that's their purpose, or they're
Correct.
doing this without even thinking,
Yeah.
right? So it's great to always keep an open mind to understand what, that's basically the journey, what the show is about, right? It's
Right.
about journeys. It's about what
Yeah.
different individuals are doing and how they get from point A to B to C. And like you said, the journey is never really done.
Yeah.
Like I heard something very interesting a while ago, and I can't quite recollect where I saw it. The question was something on the lines of, how do you know when you made it? So the answer was something like, there is no it. So what do you mean by make it? You don't make it anyway. You're still going. You just don't know if you're going to make it.
You're never done.
Yeah. Even after your life's done, you probably still haven't made it. Who knows? There's still more life left. So So coming back to this, what's the format like? What do these classes entail? And is it, like you said, going into each one of these different regional specific philosophies? Are they talking about different philosophers, stories? What's the format like?
So, like you said, it's also about, just to add to what you say, like when you say take a product and then you see what are the ingredients in it, you don't really have to do it, but it's out there for you to see it,
Yeah.
to say that, okay, there's so much % of sugar in this.
Yeah.
You didn't have to know that, but you know.
Yeah.
So it's about also knowing what are you made of? What are your ingredients? How many % of what you're giving?
Yeah.
So it is knowing yourself deeper. So the format that they follow is, first few classes are about knowing yourself, knowing thyself, where they touch upon a lot of philosophers about how they have pictured this entire journey of knowing yourself, and what the Hindu philosophy says. What they also used Mahabharata as an example. Say, what are these scriptures saying, or say what does Plato have to say about knowing yourself? And then they move on to sociopolitics, where how do you know your society, your community, and how you can know the other person? How can you be a leader? Are you a leader? Are you that person who can lead a person, or you are somebody who can be led? And nothing is wrong, nothing is right. It's just a way of life. And towards the end, we have a discussion about how much you've learned, how much, what are the things that you can apply, and not everything that you can do.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I wash my hand after a meal with a soap, it's a practice that I've done because I care about, say, being my hands clean. But it's a stupid thing to do. But that's a practice you do, that I will wash my hand with soap after every meal.
Yeah.
But it's as simple as that I am going to do this no matter what. So if that is the journey of knowing yourself, so be it. But if you don't want to know, that is also a way of life. To say that I want to be ignorant, I don't want to know any truth, I don't want to know anything about it, I love the way I am. That is also a way of life. So what is it? But if you know, the choice is yours. You make the choice. This is how I want to be. This is how I don't want to be.
Yeah.
So to make that conscious decision that I know what I am and I'm consciously doing this, gives you more independence and liberation, is what I feel it is.
Nice.
I don't know if I can get there, but I will.
You'll
One
try.
day.
Okay, yeah, you will get there. Yeah.
But I think so a lot of people, like if you look at our parents, they've learned it over years. They didn't need a class. They didn't want anybody to tell them that, this is what life teaches you.
Yeah.
But I think right now, a lot of young adults, a lot of 20s, 30s, young people are under so much stress.
Yeah.
You don't know, you want everything figured out.
Yeah.
And you need help, you need a path, and you don't know that it's within you. And you want someone to just clear it up for you, saying that, hey, it's inwards, look there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't do anything else.
If you could just let us know how these classes actually function. I mean, is it an individual class? Do you, again, this is more from a very personal interest perspective, but is it a group session, and are you all required to start at the same time and they walk you through pretty much everything irrelevant of what you're looking for out of this whole class, or what are these sessions like?
So these are group classes. They have the center in Jayanagar, newly opened now, and in Indiranagar. And right now, because of the situation, they're doing online classes. And it is a 16 week course. So for say 3 months, you do this course for 2 hours every Tuesdays when I had my classes, and we had 2 teachers coming in every week and teaching us different parts of the philosophy classes. So it's quite interesting because also you may not have like-minded people in your class, but all of them have their thoughts about each different aspect of life, and you kind of learn with them. And your teacher also talks about a lot of things, which is quite nice because it gives you a perspective that you've never thought about. To say that just a little more, or to say the fact that to sit through the class for 2 hours, maybe some classes are really good and some classes could be slightly boring, but end of the day, you have interaction with other students and with your teacher. So it's been a different journey. It's a difficult one because it actually tells you what you are. And while they're talking, you kind of realize that where you stand and you don't want to accept it easily. So kind of puts you in a spot and say that you figure it out. You have to do it because there's no other way. You have to do it.
So at what point did you kind of come to that sort of realization? And was it a session that kind of hit very close to home, or did you kind of feel it very, was it a sentimental sort of, let's say a tone that you kind of resonated with, or was it something on the funnier side, something on the lighter side? What did you take away from the class as a whole? And at what point do you realize this class is just, initially I came into this notion and now I need to be part of more such classes, right?
So see, we also have an advanced level course, which is going to start immediately, but I just thought it was too much for me already to dwell on these concepts that I've learned. And then the fact that if I have to apply even one in my life, it's going to take a lifetime. So it is a never-ending journey. It's a process. Some days, you might do it for 10 days and the 11th day, you're like, okay, I think I'm done. I've done enough already. So I need to get some kind of gratification for what I've done. So there are a lot of things. It's an ongoing process. Some days you feel great, some days you don't feel great, but to accept both levels of consciousness or the various levels of consciousness is also a task to know, to be aware, and to know where it is coming from and how to deal with it, and what's more mature and what's more long-term and what really matters. So when you're angry, when you're heat of the moment, you may not understand everything, but at least now I know that immediately after you lose it and you say, this is where it came from, so I'm not going to do this again. You might do it or you might not do it, but
at least you're aware to some extent.
Also, right? For me, when I was doing theatre, there are a lot of these texts that I came across. And Prakash used to discuss, say, the plot or the narrative or about the playwright or about the philosophy that he's coming from. So there are a lot of things that I learned in my journey also. Some people who come and say that, this is what the character meant. And say it could be about desire, it could be about leadership, it could be about, say, relationships, about sexuality. And they were all very inspiring. So that's when I thought, maybe to learn more about it is to either read those books and understand it yourself, or you just go to a class and your teacher will tell you that this is what it is.
Right.
So it's beautiful to know different concept. Just to be more aware. It may not make you a great person, but you're more aware. That's all.
So which aspect of philosophy has actually resonated with you the most, and what stuck with you the most?
So there was this play we did called Hardy's Apology. It was based on Ramanujam's life, seen by his partner, Hardy. And I played his wife's role in the play. And so while we were doing the play, it spoke about how Ramanujam felt really ill, and his wife, her entire life, she took care of Ramanujam. And, when she was young and he got married and left for his work, and he was mostly not there around her. And when he came back, he was ill, and all that she had to do was take care of him. And the only thing that she wanted was to have a good life with her husband. And Prakash Balwadi, my director, so he's a great conversationalist, and he will make you understand the character in a way that you would never approach it that way in the first place. Then he was talking about philosophy of desire. And then he said Descartes had this philosophy of desire that he spoke about, that you will always get what you want. You know, desire is such that you want to own that particular thing or the relationship or the person or the position. You will always get what you want, but not the way you wanted it. So what happens in this play is the wife always wanted to be with her husband. So she got married to be with him, but then he was not around. So he was always engrossed in his studies and
Books,
math
yeah.
and everything. And when he came back to live with her, he was not in a position to lead a proper life because he was always ill. So she got her husband back, but not the way she wanted to live. So he says that, you know, it is, desire is very tricky. So Buddhism says it is the source of suffering. And then you say you should never desire anything. So there are a lot of approaches to desire. So, but the end result of it is always suffering, they say.
Yeah.
But here in this course, what I learned is you will suffer no matter what, but how are you going to do it? Are you going to be hopeless, or are you going to take it well and suffer in a way that it's not going to affect your mental peace or your journey towards life? So it is interesting concepts. It's beyond the Instagram quotes that we read. So it's deeper. It's a lot of work inside, you know, your inner engineering, what Sadhguru says, but then it is really about your inner self.
You're right. Yeah. And on that actual note, I was, because I've been exploring a lot of this, right? Another quote I came across was, again, I could probably be killing this. I don't know if I'm getting this right, but it's something on the lines of pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So you are bound to have your lows, but how you want to look at it and how you're going to kind of walk away from it kind of reflects on the person you are, and truly comes down to mettle and character.
Yeah.
So even with this whole lockdown thing, right? Everyone's freaking out. Like you said, there's just people who just don't know whether their businesses or their careers will ever pick up again. People who spoke a lot about job security and being in a corporate company. You know what? I don't want to get off my desk job. And again, I do this a lot where I talk about corporates and I talk about desk jobs and all that. No way am I trying to diss that, but what I have noticed is people tend to are always inclined to following a safer route. Right. So especially with something like this, like job security more than anything, great. That's your priority. Works for you, perfect. Some people have money, some people have whatever it is, right? In this case, security. But it took something like COVID to kind of teach them that, you know what, there is no job security anywhere. And at the end of the day, security is within you. Right? It's about how you handle it. If you can confidently say, you know what, I lost this job, that's it. And it has nothing to do with me or what I did, but more on the lines of what the company is going through, and I can just get out in the market and get another job, irrelevant of whether the economy is down or not.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Which is very hard, and see, it is, there's one more thing, knowing is one thing and doing is another. So knowledge is power. Yes. Just being aware of your negative thinking or the way of the way of your life or your lifestyle is not enough, but what you do about it is what. So
it's more important.
It's like intelligence is knowing, but what you truly do is wisdom with it. That's what they also teach. It was very hard. Like, when I tell myself that I don't want to lose my temper, and when I lose it, when I do it, and I have had a horrible episode, and I feel like I've wasted. I've done a course, I'm trying to understand, but I still failed. But that's what they say. You always fail, you always
get
start.
Back up again.
And the key to everything is the choice you make, right? Like you said, pain and suffering and anything. It's only the choice you make, and that choice it depends on where you come from and where is the decision coming from.
Yeah.
They say, right, like your life is just like a decision away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever decision you make, and then you have other two roads, and then you always have these crossroads. Every time you're making a choice.
Yeah.
So what is that choice you make defines your life.
Right.
So it's the key to a good life, or the life you want, is the choice, which is very hard to make. And I think that is what defines life, to make those choices and to know where it's coming from and what it can do to you. So difficult.
Yeah. I mean, this whole practicality is easy to talk about, like you said. A lot of people like to either comment about other people's lives and they don't do anything probably about their own lives in the first place, right? Because two reasons. It could be that priorities are different, or it could be that they just don't have, the, like you said, the courage to do so.
Yeah.
And it's, at the end of the day, it's all choices. People keep saying, you know what, I don't have a choice, but you have a choice to do pretty much anything and everything.
Everything. To how I'm going to use my toothpaste, whether from the middle or from the bottom. From there, you make a choice, right?
Yeah.
So it is, I mean, also not bearing the burden of everything is because of you. But it says that, external forces, circumstances are there. But how you react to them is what you need to do. That is living philosophy.
Yeah.
What is your philosophy of life is what it is. Your reaction to it and your choice that you make. So it's a difficult task, life. And I feel I regret a lot of choices I make, but then what can you do? You always have to learn and move on. Very easier said than done, but
of course. And like you said, so first of all, the threshold to gaining knowledge itself is quite, tough, or it's quite high, right? It takes you time to get to a point where you can confidently say, you know what, I have explored this enough to say I know this to some degree.
Yeah.
But like you said, it doesn't end there. Just having the knowledge is not going to get you to the point, the ideal point, or what you're looking to, or what you're preaching about.
Right.
You need to really put that to use.
Exactly.
Right. So even with, I remember there are people online that I follow who talk about completing 50 books, 100 books in 6 months. I've been reading left, right, and center. I've been killing it. And there are these guys who also consume through audio books as well, listening to it on 3.5x speed and all that. And I'm just like, okay, this is great, but are you doing something about it? I mean, it's great, it's coming into your head, but you don't have enough opportunities to try all these things.
Exactly. And also, when it comes to like people and society and community, what happens is there are a lot of ideas, there are a lot of good ideas, there are a lot of right ideas, but then how does it reach people? So it's also the way you approach it. If like, what is a holistic approach? And when we talk about, say, body shaming, we talk about body shaming, but you also have memes circulating, and then you laugh at it, and then you also talk about body positivity. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So you be one with what you're doing. And like, that's why they say, like, being intelligent is not a big deal. Anybody can be intelligent, but are you wise is what you need to know. So don't tell me that I have temper issues. If you know you have temper issues, that's not going to serve anything. Have you done anything about it? Then you are then
you're on the right path.
Then I can say you've done something. You can't say, I can't always say that, you know what, I have this problem, so bear with me, is not the thing. I'm saying I have this problem, I am going to change it.
Just a disclaimer is not going to help you.
Exactly. Just because you know doesn't mean anything, doesn't make you a better person. At all. I know what I do. But why do you do it? Is what you ask yourself.
And there's also this very weird sort of, again, imbalance that I keep noticing, where one side of it is people talking about the Stoic philosophy, right? Where you don't worry about anything else around you and you just, live your life. which I believe is very important to some extent, at some degree. On the other side is what you said. Your actions speak louder than words, and whatever you're doing is going to have a very clear-cut impact on people around you, the community, the people you interact with, because at the end of the day, we are social beings.
Right.
So there are people who take this, the Stoic philosophy and follow it to the T, right? And they say, you know what, I don't give a shit about what others say. I just live my life because it's my life, right? But at the end of the day, there are problems coming out of, just having to, maybe the interactions that they have with others, and that kind of comes back to bite them later.
Correct.
Yeah. So this whole social thing as well. So I need to go into Stoicism, and I know for the fact we'll have maybe another day where we pull you back, and maybe once you've gone through the advanced course. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so you get what I'm saying, right?
So that's what happens is, first you need to figure out what kind of person you are. So they say, what is your swadharma? Saying, what are you? Like, are you an influencer, or are you just living for yourself and your family, just you? Or are you a leader? Are you a political leader? How many people follow you? So depending on what your purpose of life is, that's how responsible you're going to be. So for example, if there's a person who is not influencing anybody's life and he's doing whatever he wants without hurting anybody, you can't question him and say that this is not the way you do it. This is how you do it. Then he's like, I'm happy. This is my way of life. This is my purpose. I want only me. So if you are an influencer and you have so many people following you and you're telling them do this, do that, so you have to be responsible enough about, you can't say I'm going to live my life the way I want and then do whatever you want and say this is right. Because they're going to follow you. So you have a responsibility towards your community. So so that is the problem. So now the leadership or whatever is always hierarchy, but the way it is supposed to be is it has to spread this way and not this way, right? So where you say you build people up, you build them up, and then you say we'll do it together, then do this for me. So when that whole structure has to change, which means your approach. So if you think you're a leader, you lead your people, you have a bigger responsibility and you have a bigger sacrifices to do. So you can't say I'll do whatever I want. Because you chose this path of being a leader. So you be a leader, be just. So there's the entire topic of justice that we talk about, and what is the right thing to do and what are the things that you need to forego and let go. If you want everything and you want to be everything, it's not possible. So I don't have a problem with people doing what they want. It's ultimately your life. But if you're at a certain level where you're influencing people, you are responsible. Is what I feel.
And especially when it's content that's being put out there very openly, right? And they know for the fact any action they do has some amount of repercussions.
Correct. So that's what he says, that it's not for people to show. For example, if you don't believe in a particular brand and you don't want to endorse it yourself by buying it, then you think about it. Like, am I going to support this brand? Or am I going to watch this person's movie, but he's a wife beater otherwise? So my conscience can be at various levels. So I'm not going to watch this person's movie because he's a wife beater. You may be a tremendous actor on screen, but I don't like you because you're not that person. You're not that person that I see on screen. So some integrity you like. But some people have compartmentalized their life, saying that is different, this is different. That's his personal life, I don't care. But that's where he comes from. He can't praise a woman on screen and beat his wife at home. So for me, I have issues like that. But some people don't. But you need to figure that out. So again, so there is knowledge, there's awareness, but applying becomes very difficult for me. I know my vices, I know my, those evils. I like to talk about them, but I don't know what to do with them. So it's a process, it's a journey that you figure it out. Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe that's life. Life will figure it out by itself.
Yeah, so that's a good place to, I think, wrap this up.
I know. I mean, I'm sure like people are watching this would be thinking, "Oh my God, Siri talks so much. Does she do these things?" I don't do anything. Like any young adult or people who are growing up, who are seeing life and taking up life head on, and especially in this difficult time, you're trying to figure it out. And especially now, you don't have anybody but yourself to hold on to emotionally, financially,
everything,
job wise, professionally. So this was my way of letting it go, or maybe trying to understand deeper. I don't do anything, but I've just taken the step of knowing it. My God, Baba Siri Dev.
Yeah. So actually, on that note itself, normally I ask all my guests, what's one last message that you'd want to put out? I know you kind of already gave a sort of quick mini message, but to kind of wrap this whole thing up, and if there's something that you've not mentioned earlier and you want to put just any message or anything out there that people can benefit from or take value from, what would that be?
That not all content online is good, so don't buy into that. And all these feminist movies and series that you watch are cringe-worthy. That's not how women are. I don't know. It was just there. I had to say that.
Yeah.
Generally. And people who say that, oh, don't talk to me like that. I'm saying it's not a feminist kind of a thing. It's just like basic respect towards people. So anyway, so this time is harsh for everybody emotionally and mentally. Maybe you're just randomly searching on Google whether I'm bipolar, whether I have anxiety. I have people talk to me about it, and I say that relax, it's fine. But I've done that myself. Oh God, what is happening to me?
And then you end up having cancer because of you just go from page to page. Oh, should I have cancer?
Correct. Yeah. So what people have told me, and which kind of comforts me, is that we're all in this together. That is for sure.
Right.
But again, how much you want to sulk, how much you want to sink, and how much you want to rise up is all up to you. And whatever you feel is completely fine, is what I feel. Even if you're feeling tremendously jobless and hopeless right now, it's fine. Yeah. And what else do I say? Don't crack Siri jokes. And follow me on my social media. I talk a lot with you guys. I reply to my messages. And that's it.
So where can people find you online?
So it's SIRIIRAVIQMAR, Siri Ravikumar.
Is it because someone already had taken the...
Yeah. So when I had my Gmail ID I had to create, I did Siri Ravikumar. I'm like, what is this? I don't have it. It's not available. So I added one extra I. So usually when I ask people to send invoice or send payment or whatever, they miss it because my mail is not verified only. So SIRII on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for making time, Siri.
Hey, thank you so much for having me over, because it's very weird, like I told you. It's very different. It feels good that I'm on the other side of the table and people asking me questions. Yeah. And I had a great time because this is new. I've never spoken to anybody so much about how I think about life, what I want to do.
So we are definitely bringing you back for another edition for sure.
Sure.
You just mentioned something which completely slipped my mind.
Right? Which one is it?
On all online content is not good. Social media having its own pros and cons. I think we spoke about that earlier, but it kind of slipped my mind. But I think we'll bring you back for that and some more philosophical conversations and more coffee and whatnot.
Yeah. Definitely, with more coffee.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I had a great time. Thank you for this great coffee.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, I had fun. Yeah. I had a great time.
Thanks a lot, Siri.
All right. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Such a fun episode, right? I had a ball shooting and filming this episode. The entire episode, we were on the floor laughing. We were just cracking silly jokes and really tripping on each other. And I'm glad that Siri was able to make some time for the show. And I'm glad that we got her on the show too. Are you guys glad that we got her on the show? Are you guys glad that the show is even happening right now. If so, we'd love to hear from you. It'll really help if you could drop us a comment in the comment box below. Also consider liking and sharing and subscribing to our channel. And if in case you're listening to this over Apple Podcasts, or if you're one who has an Apple Podcasts account, it would really help if you could drop us a review and a rating there too. I guess I will see you guys on the next episode. Ciao.